A tricky trip ahead for French President Emmanuel Macron as he travels to Corsica. The island has been demanding greater independence from Paris for decades, and recent elections saw nationalists win by a landslide. The popular tourist destination is, however, struggling economically, with 1 in 5 living below the poverty line. Financially dependent on the French state, but nationalists say having more control is the only way it can improve. Clifford and Jonathan Walsh are in Corsica and send this report.
By far the Ile de Beauté's most precious industry, tourism brings in almost a third of its GDP. For Corsica's ruling nationalists, autonomy is what's needed to fully reap its benefits in tailoring legislation and taxes to local needs.
On the 30th of September, beach restaurants have to close because it's the law in general for the whole country, which is a paradox because this is still a really busy time in Corsica right up until November. An autonomous status would allow us to take measures adapted to the realities of the tourist situation on the island.
Among these measures, the controversial residency status. Second homes represent 36% of the island's real estate. The nationalists want to stop non-Corsicans buying property until they've lived here for 5 years.
It's just not acceptable that today a young Corsican can't rent an apartment on the coast. We're not going to be able to develop other sectors in Corsica if the people needed to work in them can't access housing.
But not everyone agrees the residency status would address these issues, including Jean-Pierre Battistini, a member of the region's Economic and Social Council.
People of Corsican origin can still buy property for other people, so the resident status is a smokescreen. It's clear that these are racist measures which completely go against popular interest.
Corsica already benefits from tax privileges. Its wine is tax-free and VAT reduced on goods like tobacco and chocolate. But the nationalists want more. Local businesses are increasingly getting behind them.
To train our staff, we currently need to travel to the mainland. It's very expensive. With an autonomous status, we could have local training programs. We could also increase tax credits, encourage local businesses to invest in staff training.
With a GDP of 8.6 billion euros, Corsica is France's poorest region, dependent on Paris for 30% of its jobs in the public sector. Many nationalists admit that independence isn't possible, but say a new autonomous status written into the French constitution is the way to get their island on its feet.
Well, as that trip officially gets underway, our reporters there, Clifford and Jonathan Walsh, will